بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله أولا وأخيرا، ثم الصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم أجمعين وبعد. Well, they say latecomers always eat bones, so we have toward the end. So anyway, we have to present toward the end of it. As you heard, my name is Zubeir Saidi, the Imam in Benoni, Joburg, Gauteng, and my topic is the short history of the Zanzibari Muslims in South Africa. Why did I choose the topic? Alhamdulillah, mashallah, because I'm one of the Zanzibaris as well. So it was simple and easy for me to go for research, you know. Another thing is that, mashallah, I would like to thank the IDB as well, just to put us on the map, you know, because normally is that the Zanzibari, sometimes they don't know who are the Zanzibaris also in this country as well. So at least this time, at least some of us, maybe by the time we leave here, we'll be able to know who are the Zanzibaris. Shukran, inshallah. The Zanzibaris are a tiny proportion of the Muslim population of South Africa. As a known factor, Muslims constitute less than 2% of the South African population of just over 50 million. And historically, the largest subgroups have been the descendants of the Indian migrants who arrived in South Africa from the late 19th century, as we all know, mashallah, been hearing and listening all this, and alhamdulillah. Now, the Zanzibaris is commonly in a fictional note, landed in Natal as early as 1870s, when close to 500 liberated slaves landed in the colony of Natal and settled at King's Rest, by the way, and that is on the bluff. I'm sure those great brothers staying in Natal, you know the place very well. And the original liberated slaves were the Mapuas from the northern part of Mozambique. Over the years, this group grew up, mashallah, rapidly, including the Yao-speaking Malawians and some Swahili, as well as the local Zulus as well, through the intermarriage. And the Zanzibaris, who are the subject on this case study, live in the township of Chatsworth, which is very, very common, mashallah, which was established by the apartheid government, which is also minus 20 kilometers south of Durban, at Tekwini. And this town was actually established for the Indians, especially as part of the Its Group Areas Act in the years 1960, somewhere around there. And many residents of Chatsworth, particularly the women, worked in the clothing and textile industries in nearby towns. Some of these towns are Clewood, Jacobs, and Mobeni. Of course, we know this sort of why they did so, because most of the men were actually working under the Indian brothers. We know, obviously, when you work, you know, these sort of circumstances, normally, you know, you get the peanuts, you know. As they say that if you pay the peanuts, always the monkeys will work for you. So, by the way, because of that, as a result now, the women also now, they went out to work also just to help and see their families as well, alhamdulillah. Well, the rest and the religion, the Zanzibaris, okay, were classified as other Asiatic. Other Asiatic, in that meaning that after the time when it came, you know, after this Dompas, what have you, you know, this and after the sort of the apartheid, the time came to reclassify the race groups. So the Zanzibaris now, they were lost, because actually the Zanzibaris, dark-skinned people, black people like myself, so they couldn't fight with regard to the white group areas, white group, or maybe Indians, but now they were speaking English only. So extent to so sometimes when you when travel, maybe in the text, wherever you are, maybe in schools, they ask you, what, but you're speaking English, but you're a black person, why are you speaking Zulu? So he said, no, I'm a Zanzibari. He said, no, who is this sort of Zanzibari now? So it was very, very difficult for the Zanzibaris to be classified now in a sort of group, like, So now that is why when you have to go fill the form in wherever it is, maybe at the workplace or school, okay, there is certain portion where you have to fill your group race, whether you are white, you are Indian, you are colored. So with regard to us now, we're classified as other Asiatic, meaning that now we are part and parcel of the Indians. Alhamdulillah. And why was this? Because that we could speak English, most of the Zanzibari, even the children, they could speak also, mashallah. The language was English, which was very close to the Indian accent. At the same time also, obviously the religion being Islam as well. So now, the language is also the marker of the difference between the Zanzibaris and the indigenous locals, as they have good command of English as well, alhamdulillah. So this created a problem with the indigenous people, since they expected them to speak the fluent Zulu. Now, well, this is part of it. And then when it comes to education, most of the Zanzibaris, mashallah, the children attended the neighborhood schools, where the majority of the learners were the Indians. Some of the schools were Summerfield, Protea High, Ahmadiyya in Mayville, just to mention a few of these sort of schools, alhamdulillah. And obviously, as he said, Islam is the religion, alhamdulillah. With regard to Islamic beliefs and practices are important, and they're unique also in Chatsworth, where you find most of them, most of Chatsworth, Phoenix, and Newlands, most of the Zanzibaris love this sort of areas, alhamdulillah. They still have the traditions which normally they practice. One of them is, mashallah, every year they celebrate what you call the Miladun Nabi. Ziyarah. They call it Ziyarah, mashallah. And that Ziyarah, there is, mashallah, very, very interesting moment wherein they find that they sing some sort of the dhikr from the kitab, we call it Ja'far Barzanji. And Mawlid Ja'far Barzanji. Like, for example, أبتدئ المولى باسم الله العليا صلى الله عليه مستمرا فإذا البركات على ما أناله وأولى صل وسلم عليه وأثني وأسلم على الموصوف بالتقدم والأولوية صلى الله عليه So these are some of the, and then we have some sort of the mashallah traditions, circumcisions, mashallah, the khitan, when it takes place, subhanallah, we call it jando, Very, very interesting, mashallah. We don't want to talk much because of Sheikh Bilal indicated already my time is over. But in terms of nikah and the ndoa, mashallah, it's a different, unique also, mashallah, it's very, very interesting. The khatam, another one is where, the 40 days, 3 days, Sabah ayat, mashallah. These are the things which normally are very common among the Zanzibaris. Right, the school of thought, mashallah, the school of thought among them in Zanzibaris, all of them, 99.9% are Shawafis, alhamdulillah. And we know there's no doubt about it. And that is to prove the point that in Chatsworth Unit 2, we've got 2 masjids. The other one which is special for the Shawafis and the other one is for Hanaf, mashallah. But there's no problem, alhamdulillah, mashallah. There is, mashallah, tolerance, what have you, alhamdulillah. We don't have a problem there. In conclusion, the Zanzibari community has contributed a lot, to such an extent that, mashallah, there are, today as we are talking, many Islamic scholars, lawyers, accountants, the ulama, huffaz, mashallah, who have also emerged from this community, and they are also contributing towards the developments of the country. Just to mention a few of these sort of professions as well, alhamdulillah, like mashallah, one of them, Sheikh Dawood, of Yusuf Dawood, mashallah, you see, ITV as well, of the Makua community as well, alhamdulillah, just to mention a few, But alhamdulillah, so it is our dua that inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant this community and the rest of the community also share success, stability, and capability also to rise higher in this the akhirah. So, wa akhiru da'wana, alhamdulillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.